Adele inspired me, especially with this last book, because he talked on the stage about how he used to run away from his problems, but at the same time, he was facing running to his by writing. So I thought that was a cool dichotomy that he was having point in his life. Very fruitful over the last. How long has it been writing? It's been 3 years in the process. Wow, so awesome! That inspired me a lot.
Hi there. I'm so glad to be here today to help Adele with his book launch. His story is remarkable in so many ways. What captivated me about his story and just mesmerized me, honestly, was in the trilogy of his three books is how this young child who was literally abandoned, unfortunately, by both parents and raised by step grandparents and parents and other members of his family, how he evolved into the adult who he is today, so successful and functioning and having a wonderful relationship with his two younger daughters. His third book captivates a bit more on his journey as an adult, crossing several cultural barriers. And it's a really remarkable story. Start at book one. Book two and book three are super interesting as well. Make sure you read all three books because they're super amazing and you really get something out of each and every story that he tells.
My name is Summer. I'm from Egypt, Alexandria. I work as a translator and also a teacher, TA. I teach more than one thing, so I teach the language and I teach history. First of all, I met Adel through a common friend. At the beginning, he didn't like that I was coming from a Middle Eastern country. He didn't want me to do the editing, so he refused me at the beginning. And after that, he knew who I was, and then we started to know each other. He knew that I'm a little bit different from his background information, so we started to get along really well. We started by joking and just like working here and there, discussing things, discussing religions, politics, everything. And like 2 months ago, he asked me to do the editing for the last book, editing and translating as well. So I did, and he invited me here today to talk about his book, to talk about women's role in his book, and to celebrate what I did. And that's it. I hope the best because he's really, really, really amazing, and his message and what he's doing, it should be well appreciated and well known. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, my name's Carolyn Kildare. I've known Adele for many years. I think we met around about 2012 or 2013. I can't even remember when. Adele and I met through the running community here in Calgary. We both started running at around about the same time. Adele's always been much faster than me. So, we kind of run in slightly different circles, but we've both have always shared our love for activity. And it's one of those things on a Sunday, you wave as you run past. Of course, he's going. It's just how that goes. So we've had a great connection all the years through, seeing each other at races, being able to talk during clinics and so forth. When Adele thought he looked at getting into the hiking area, I had already been spending time out in the mountains and had developed a bit of knowledge around what to take, where to go, how to get into it. So helped him a lot and gave him a bit of coaching as he first started venturing into the mountains. And he came out on a few occasions with me to sort of get some practice in and just sort of learn how to do it. He's certainly conquering more mountains these days, but and doing great. And it's always so pleasurable to see how he's just getting out and enjoying the natural environment that we're part of here. Adele's book really has been an eye-opener in terms of understanding some of the challenges and rewards of working across cultures, of having to straddle different worlds which have very different perspectives. And some of his stories in his last book of his times while he's been here in Alberta and some of the challenges he's encountered, especially in the workplace, are really sobering for those of us who are from here, and certainly set an objective to say that that's not how we want to be. We want to be welcoming and helpful, regardless of where you come from, no matter what language you speak. And so from my perspective, Adele's book is a really great example of someone who has come through from what could be considered a really hard beginning, and through perseverance, tenacity, and also just his sheer openness and vulnerability has been able to make lasting connections and have a really high impact on so many people around him.
So I actually ran into Adel a couple of times. Like in some of the community events, I had interesting chats with him. But like until I really got basically involved in basically his work, is when somebody from the Yemeni community approached me, and they were like, because they know I'm a writer, I'm a poet, I write poetry in both Arabic and English. She was like, he's like he has these cool books. He's been writing for so long, and he's hosting this event, so it would be really cool for you to get involved. Uh, and we were supposed to meet, and actually, but I met him before that scheduled meeting. At an event, we spoke briefly. We went for coffee. We met a couple of times, and yeah, and honestly, I loved his writing. So uh, pretty much, I mean, I'm myself an Arab, so I can definitely relate to the Arab part of the story, but also I'm Canadian, so I can relate to the immigrant part of the story. Uh, I happen to be an international student at some point in my life in the United States, in Canada, and in Lebanon. So that part of the story was very relatable to myself and to my journey. So definitely a great book. The author is actually very creative, has written this memoir in basically trying to capture his experience from like over decades and decades. Very detailed description. Sometimes I personally, when I read the book, I just needed some time to sit, have my cup of coffee, and say, "Wow, this is like." You have to just look at the human side of the story. It's not about the story itself or me knowing Adel, but rather the human side of the story. Because you're looking at somebody's life from like being literally a toddler or a baby up to this age, throughout all those experiences, that could be really rewarding but also painful. So you have to imagine how did he feel about those experiences. Imagining that feeling is, in my opinion, the essence of the story and the memoir, and that can be the story of so many immigrants in this country. This beautiful country, is a country of immigration. A lot of people come with stories. They start from scratch, but their past is still there. Their painful memories, their sweet memories back home, their loved ones, these are all still part of their minds and hearts. They come here at the start of life, but every time, maybe next time, to whoever's listening to this or watching this, if you actually, next time you meet somebody who started a new life here, remember and try to focus on the human side of the story. Not just what do they do, how much money they make, they're nice, the good time you're spending. Look at the human side and how sweet but also painful some of those details can be. Thank you so much.